Good morning. It's good to see everyone this morning. I'm using my phone because Ravi is not able to be here today, and so he sent me what he would like to be said about somebody behind me. So I want you to know that Curtis and Raymond and Carmela and Kenny and Ingrid and I have a new colleague. Her name is Alice Green. And so Ravi has written these words. Back in May 2022, 9 members of the congregation were assembled to help lead the church in the time of transition. They were to identify and hire an intentional interim pastor that would guide the church in understanding its identity through the process of hiring a settled pastor and continuing oversight of many of UBC's typical duties. The committee identified Reverend Dr. Alice B. Green to serve us as she comes to us with high recommendation from the American Baptist churches and with strong regards from Reverend Gene Robinson Casey, of whom she attended seminary with. Reverend Green is a native of the Chicago area with strong roots in Washington, D.C. She has pastored churches in both areas and has been the interim pastor at several churches in the National Capital Region. She is a graduate of Wesley Theological and Howard Divinity Schools. She also has a JD from Northwestern University. Reverend Green understands our concerns and desires, can guide us through our processes ahead. She has a passion to help the churches and is eager to help ours. She looks forward to getting to know us, and we look forward to partnering with her. Please welcome Reverend Green. I would also like to thank the Transition Committee. So members, if you are here, would you just stand if you're in the sanctuary this morning on Spring Forward Sunday? There we go. Thank you very much.
The title of my message to you today is Falling in Love With. Now you'll see a little ... falling in love with, but you'll find out sooner or later I'm really talking about falling in love with Jesus, okay? No mystery here. The book of 1 John leads off by explaining how God's love is made complete and what our role is to be in this world. He tells us that we are to be like Jesus in order to be with God when the day of judgment comes. And that means that we are to live in love like Jesus did. This word love has a whole lot of meanings, doesn't it? It's understood in a number of different ways. In Greek, love is defined as having 4 different meanings. The first kind of love is philia, and this is the type of love found in strong friendships, philia, friends. Eros love, the kind of love is found in romantic relationships, think erotic, okay? Storge love, which is one I have not been familiar with, but this is a type of love found in family relations. And the fourth one is agape love. This type of love describes selfish, unconditional love. It is considered by some to be godlike or Christ-like love. So I guess you know which one I'm going to be talking about today, huh? Agape love is the kind of love that Jesus taught, the kind of love that Jesus lived, the kind of love that allowed Jesus to be beaten and whipped and hung up on the cross to die in excruciating pain. And he did that so that we could see him rise up from the grave to let us know who he truly is. And most importantly, for my message to you today, Jesus did all of that because he wanted us to see and to know the kind of love that God has for all of us. And he wants us to share this kind of love with others. The book of John lets us know that Jesus' agape love is the kind that we are to follow. Agape love. It's the kind of love that makes us willing to give up what we may want so that we can give to someone else what they need. That's the kind of love that the world needs now. Now, if I could sing, I would be singing what the world needs now, but you don't want to hear me sing, okay? It's not something that I do. The romantic eros kind of love often begins by falling into it. We talk a lot about falling in love, right? This erotic kind of love, don't we? Erotic love is focused on romantic relationships, and I guess we use the term falling in erotic love because we don't choose that kind of love that we find when we fall in love. It's often unexpected when we discover that we are in love with someone, isn't it? We have fallen in love. We think we found the right person we want. We think we found the right person to marry. We have a family and to have a family with. That's romantic love. And that's the kind of love we fall into. So my question for you today is, can we fall into agape love? Like erotic love, can we find ourselves unexpectedly into agape love? The kind of love that is selfless, unconditional love? In the same way as people fall into erotic love, can we do that? Can we fall into the Jesus kind of love that focuses on helping others? Can we fall in love with people who may need help even if we don't know anything about them? Can we fall in love with people who break the laws and hurt other people? We see these people in the news every day, don't we? They can be with the children in school who not only fight with each other, but who now even have guns and shoot. There are adults who drive insanely and kill people and then run away. They are the men who will abuse and murder women. They are the women who walk the streets to give themselves away for a few dollars because they don't know any other way to live. There are people who decide that they are more important and better than other people. So they cheat and they lie and they steal to get and stay rich. They are the kind of people who cheat in order to get in positions of leadership and power, and then they use that power to benefit only themselves. I could go on. You know the kind of people I'm talking about, the people who it is hard and difficult to fall in love with. And falling in love with these kind of folks is not easy. Well, maybe it's easy for you and it's just me. No, I think it's all of us, isn't it? So if we are to follow Jesus, we are to reach out like he did to people who may not be like us at all. As people who serve God, we are to reach out beyond our family and our friends, beyond our jobs and our churches, to help those who are truly in need. And we are also to speak truth to those in high places and to get them out of those high places if they are stealing from others. We are to march when we need to challenge the things that they do. We are to vote and encourage others to vote, to get the right people into the right positions to make this country and this world and this city and place better. As followers of Jesus, we are to find ways as church folks. You are church folks, right? Okay. As church folks, to bring Jesus' love, this agape love, to those who need to understand it, to both those who are poor and those who are rich, and to everyone else who falls in between. So what I'm talking about is not easy. And I expect that you, members of University Baptist Church, know that it's not easy. And it's especially difficult, I believe, for you to think about falling in love with others outside of the church when your pastor, who you were in love with for 31 years, or is it 32? 31 or 32 years, he's gone. And Pastor John Philip Burns was a strong leader who cared for you for a long time. And when you have been in love with someone for that long, it's difficult to try to think about them not being where you are and where you're used to seeing them. You are missing him now, and you are going to continue to miss him because he was a beloved person in your lives. But the wonderful thing about loving someone like Reverend Burns is that you have wonderful memories, don't you, about him? And you will let him know that you still love him in your hearts. And even when he's no longer in person, memories are so special because they allow us to remember and still be with those who are not with us anymore. Well, I've also been in enough churches to know that it's not unusual for the church to get caught up in so many things they do together inside of the church that activities to reach outside of the church can easily be pushed aside. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this about you because I'm not sure everything that you do. But I suspect that you already do much good work in this community, and I also know that you have a wonderful mix of people here, and you are beautiful just to look at standing from here. And I think it's wonderful that you have learned how to live in love with each other and that you are grateful for having Pastor Burns who guided you into this kind of agape love. It's the kind of love that makes me fall into agape love with you. You see, there's something about falling in love when you put the emphasis on falling. That is even more important than just loving each other. I think that falling into agape love is somewhat of an unexpected, true kind of love, the kind of love that is unconditional, that makes you want to do everything you can to help and care for the ones you fall into agape love with. That kind of love that Jesus shared when he died on that cross for us. When you fall in love with someone who you don't know, and you love them simply because they are a child of God, that's agape love. It means that you are willing and wanting to help those who you fall in love with as much as you can. Falling into agape love means that you've come to a deeper understanding of what true love is all about, and that you can share it with people who have no reason to love you back. It's agape love, the kind of love that Jesus showed us when he was willing to do something that he did not have to do, so that we could so that we could learn what it means to really love. Jesus' agape love is even more amazing because he knew all the bad things that were going to happen to him before they happened. He understood what was going to happen, and he did it anyway. That's agape love. That's the kind of love that those who believe in him are to follow. No, it doesn't mean that we are to die on a cross for others to show our love. Well, maybe it does mean that. We don't die on a cross, but we do die in our need to be selfish. We die in our need to be better off than other people. We die in our need to show off and try to look important. We die in our need to be powerful. Now, don't get me wrong. I expect that some people here serve in positions of power and service. But if we are in powerful positions, we don't serve for the purpose of becoming rich and famous. When we serve, it's not about us. It's about teaching this country, this state, this city, this neighborhood, this church to understand, helping them to understand what true love, agape love, the love that Jesus has taught us, is all about. There's a song that you may have heard by Kirk Whalum, some of you, I don't know, who sings over and over that falling in love with Jesus was the best thing he's ever done. It's one that I keep on my list of favorite songs, and it plays a lot in my car wherever whenever I'm in the mood to turn my music on. Falling in love with Jesus is the best thing he's ever done, we've ever done, I've ever done. When we fall in love with Jesus, we want to be more Jesus-like, don't we? I mean, I would think we would. Falling in love with Jesus helps us to learn even more about how to love all those other folks that I've been talking about. When we fall in love with Jesus, we want to, more than anything else, to follow his teachings and to do the things he showed us how to do, to love like he did, to help others like he did, to be close to God like he was and still is. So yes, this sermon is about falling in love with Jesus, in case you can't figure that out or you hadn't figured it out yet. Falling in love with Jesus is the best thing that we can ever do. Now, I know you would not be here if you had not also fallen in love with Jesus already. I expect you love Jesus. I know that you have, as a church, had some wonderful experiences with Jesus. I know that you have, as individuals, had some great love stories to tell about you and Jesus. I know you love Jesus like I do. I sure have fallen in love with Jesus, so much so that I dropped my well-paying job, took all my money out of my savings to pay to go to seminary, trying my best to follow what I thought Jesus wanted me to do, what God wanted me to do. And I loved seminary. I loved the classes. I loved working at the church while I was in school. I loved graduating and going back to my hometown and becoming pastor of a church near there. I have loved everything about what I do. I have fallen in love with Jesus, and I feel Jesus has rewarded me back with all kinds of wonderful love and people like you to be with. It does not mean that my life has been easy, but I always know now that God is with me, even and maybe especially when I go through difficult stuff. And guess what? Okay, you won't guess. I know I'm already in love with you, and I will be with you as long as you need me. I will continue to love you until after I love you after, not until after I leave. I will continue to love you after I leave, because the love that I am growing to understand is agape love. And agape love has no limits. We can continually fall in love deeper and deeper. And I don't know how deep it goes. True love, the kind of love that Jesus showed us, the kind of love that God wants from us, the kind of love that the Holy Spirit whispers in our ears. Agape love. I'm not saying that I'm perfect, because I'm not. And I might mess up sometime while I'm with you, but not on purpose. I might not always be happy with what you do, but that doesn't stop me from loving you. And I'm still learning, and I'm still working and falling in love as deeply as I can. So as you plan for your new future and make decisions on what's most important for you now, I will be with you, helping in all the ways that I know how. I know you believe in Jesus and want to follow him, and because of that, I know you too are in love with him. You can't help it. And the longer you are in love with Jesus, the more your love becomes deeper. It's kind of like continually falling in love and more. And with that love, that real, true love, you will do your best to share it with all you come into contact with. And you will even more importantly reach out to those who don't know this love. And you will show them what it means. Whenever you do that, you're showing others what it means to be a believer in God. You're showing them what it really means to be a Christian. You are showing the people who come into your sanctuary what God is all about. And you are showing God that you not only believe in God, but you're also showing God that you believe in love, God's love, agape love. Falling in love, true love, agape love with Jesus really is the best thing that you can ever do. It's the best thing for yourselves, for your family, for your church, and for your friends, and for everyone who needs to know what true love is all about. Agape love. Amen.